Streaming is on.
Money management status reports. Topic 2. Creating the tab.
That's topic 3. Okay, so the proposal is to require, in line 5, require management status reports every off week from executive status reports and pay stubs. I think we could just simplify this and just say require management status reports from the team every 2 weeks. To prevent no work required could happen on the off weeks from executive status report.
All right, so it would happen basically on the first quarter and last quarter month.
Yeah, but do you think that's a good idea? Because there are other deadlines, those particular those particular moons, because you have the budget and then other things.
And the accounting.
And the accounting. So we could just focus on the budget and the accounting for those weeks, and then do all of the status reports at the same time. So for the executive and the management status reports would all be together.
Yeah, it makes sense for sure. That we do all the reports, executive and management reports.
It's more work though.
Yeah, but I mean, the management status report should be done with, it's a team, obviously it's always the team responsible, but should be done by the manager of that particular
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Right, that the deadline for the management status reports is you could say 1 day or 3 days to be half week before the executive status report. So if we did the deadline a day or 3 days before the executive status report, that would make sense in terms of like, first you get all the management reports in, because that informs the executive on the status of the organization to be able to do the executive status reports. Because how are you going to do an executive status report if you don't know the status of the management?
Yeah, or we could do the management status could have a weekly deadline every Monday, Tuesday. Everybody starts the week with the management.
That's too much.
Too much.
I think that's just too much information. Plus, it's like we already have the weekly check-in we're supposed to be doing, right? So that would just be an individual worker weekly check-in. Currently, the management processes are supposed to happen seasonally. So we have the management session that happens every season. So this is just the management status report. We could also say that the management status report happens monthly.
I don't know. Monthly, it's. I think it doesn't make a lot of sense because, I mean, if we wanna try to have a workflow that's efficient, I think it needs to be at least once every 2 weeks, once every 4 days.
Yeah. I mean, currently we don't do it at all, right? So monthly would be better than nothing. But yeah, I mean, obviously it might make more sense, especially with taxes happening. Like sometimes we have 2-3 tax deadlines in a single month.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I was even thinking to do it should be weekly. Weekly, we should have status reports on everything every week, and then the executive support can be every 2 weeks because I mean executive support is broader. I mean, but we also have regularly scheduled sessions for executive, right? Every week.
I just think that's too much because it's like, weekly there's just there's not enough going on every week to do a full status update on every single management priority.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyways,
but then you can just say no status difference, no status updates from last week or something like that. Nothing else. But at least forces you to every week to check the status of what you're managing.
Yeah, I mean, weekly could be the hard stop. Every 2 weeks could be the half pay stop, and every month could be the upfront pay stop. Full upfront pay stop. We could
Yeah,
do something like that.
I mean,
Anyways, let's just leave it as an option for now, and the team can vote on it, and we'll figure it out later.
yeah, my option would be the half pay stop weekly and the 2 weeks upfront pay stop. So with the half pay stop, if there is some management missing, managing status report missing, with the half pay stop immediately kicking in, we know that's what's going to happen. We this way we have a high level of sureness that we will have weekly status reports, which is very important.
Yeah, well, I just don't think we need weekly status reports. But anyways, let's go. Let's just leave that for the team to vote on because it should be pretty simple to see what people want. But then we need the list of management priorities, right? That need that require status update.
Yes, so I'm going to copy and paste the one.
Many, I think it definitely changes what the status report should be.
Yeah.
So right now we have taxes, accounting, bills, budget, pop review, payroll, sponsorship. So for the pop review, we should be able to get rid of this once completed. So this would be like a one-time. Sponsorship. Then you have support alliance. So there's the org support and the life support, but I think it's just the support alliance is enough, right? We just need one up on the support alliance.
I mean, with the pop review, I would say instead of the pop review, I would say the worker criteria, right?
But that's a separate thing, right? The pop review for the worker criteria is totally separate from the budget pop review.
Yeah, I mean, but it's part of the worker criteria work to check that the pop has been.
That's a separate thing.
It's up.
No, the worker involvement criteria pop review is completely separate responsibility from the budget pop review. They do different things.
Verification. Yeah.
There's a little bit of overlap, but overall,
they're different. They're different. I agree.
They're verifying different components. So the worker involvement criteria is essential, but then you also have the deadlines, right? So
also, I would include maybe it's just until it's completed the CCC board setup or recruitment, especially for Stacy, right?
What?
The CCC board setup, which maybe it's only up to the point when it's the work is completed.
You're saying that Stacy would be doing that?
Yeah, I mean, that should be her. I mean, as we discussed with her, her main for this first month of her temporary hire, that should be her main priority. So, so we will tell her immediately that she needs to require to do a status update on that.
Okay, so these priorities need to be improved. So the category is in this context is finances, right? Finances. This is finances, value distribution. Bills.
By distribution.
The two responsibilities here, we could separate them. Then you got accounting. So this is one responsibility or two, I don't know. And taxes, currently the taxes, the 1099.
Yeah, but I think that the status should be on the whole process. So
That should be on what?
the status should be on the whole process. I mean, the manager is managing the whole process. So
The whole process of what?
Of the process or of the system, right? When you update on the bills, you update about the work and the responsibilities. So we worked on this responsibility last week. Now we're going to work. Now work happened on this responsibility. Now there's going to be next responsibility pending. So you're updating on what's the status for this responsibility inside the whole process or the whole subsystem system.
Again, I'm not sure what you're talking about. So again, this is the same as the executive support priority list and the money support priority list. It's all based on priorities. It's not based on umbrella positions and umbrella like systems. Like that's not. It has nothing to do with that. It's about the priorities. So let's take a good example.
Right. I get it.
There's the worker involvement criteria, right? And there is the deadlines, right? So the deadline. So this would be tactical ops. So the question is, do we need one tactical ops update or do we need two? Right?
Yeah. Okay, got it.
So this would be management or coordination or worker coordination. I don't know what we want to call it.
Management's fine.
It's worker coordination, right? Because everything is management, right? So for me, I think we need two separate updates regularly because the worker involvement criteria and the deadlines are totally separate priorities. They really have nothing to do with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are different processes, but yeah, I agree with you. Let's make it more detailed with priorities. So, like the bills would be the update, the bills updating, and the bills verification.
So currently the monthly budget process includes both HR and overall budget, right? CCC board setup also includes the non-profit
budget.
Right, so this is I don't know. We need to figure out where this takes place. It's possible that we need to separate the nonprofit budget from the CCC board recruitment. So maybe it's two different things. One is recruitment, and one is finances, right? Value distribution.
talking about it.
Whereas the recruitment is under
Outreach.
the recruitment team is under NRT, right?
NRT, yes.
I think it makes sense that those will be two separate things. And I don't know if Stacy is involved in the budget yet. Right? Yeah, so I would separate the budget out there. The support alliance is definitely Joyce.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, so this is a good start. Well, let's just start the status off for all of them being red.
So the BS, I don't know if we need to have two different priorities. I mean, because it's either updating or verification. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, we could just note that. So updating and verification.
Yeah. Accounting, we have but that's work, right? So here we want to have a status report on what's happening, right?
Yeah, but what is the work that needs to be done?
The work on the overall accounting is the status report, status update and report. What we're doing now, right? We update the status every 3 weeks, and we verify the status update and we report it.
So I'm going to call it an executive status update. So there's a separate accounting executive status update, but then there's also the calculations, right?
Yeah, which involves all the calculations.
So, I mean, I think that's it. I can't really think of anything else. I mean, I think there are going to be a bunch of SVG things that are going to be coming together.
I don't know if you want to do a different onboarding for the decision makers, or onboarding goes into the worker onboarding criteria, but I would make it different, separate. Also training, I would definitely make a status update on the trainings.
So just onboarding and training?
Yeah, there overlap a little bit on the worker involvement criteria, but I would make a different one. And I don't know if we want to separate even further between workers and decision makers.
What about the decision makers? What about the decision makers?
Well, the decision makers have a different onboarding and training than the workers. Like when we had a session with Abu Bakr, we decided that we need to create this spreadsheet for now, where we include the list that we made of the trainings.
I don't know. Maybe onboarding and training should be separate. I'm just not really sure.
Yeah, if we separate it, then we don't need to separate between decision makers and workers. I mean, there's the onboarding, in general for new workers and the decision makers and everybody. And then there's the training, which includes everybody.
Well, the decision makers get training as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we would update also on the decision makers within the training. But if we wanted to keep it together, I would have divided it into decision makers and workers. But if we divide it instead, we divide the subcategory, then I think it's fine like this. So you need to update on
Yeah, I mean, I think we
on
could
everything.
keep it. I think we could keep it the same in terms of like if they were the same, it would just be like, I don't know what we call it, but it would just be like onboarding and training. I just don't see what the difference is. Like, why would it matter to have the onboarding and training? I just don't understand your argument.
I mean, because it depends what because if you want to have a status update on the work, on organizing the onboarding and training, right? It's different between the decision makers and the workers. Because
every worker is different, though. Every single worker and what their position is will depend on their training.
Yes, that's correct. So what I'm saying is that onboarding training, it's I mean, if I think about it, there is two components. All right, one, it's a component where I work on organizing and improving the onboarding and training for other workers, right? So this is a set of work. And then there is the other component, which is my personal onboarding and my training, right? What I think that
that's not management, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. This is
So,
only management updates. So your individual personal updates would just be your normal weekly check-in with the team on what you've achieved and how you're moving forward with your work. So that would go into for your own personal worker training and onboarding would not be related to the management status updates.
I agree. So what I think is that we should separate between the onboarding and training of workers and the onboarding and training of decision makers. So we should have different status updates about the onboarding and training of the worker, right, of the active workers, and then there should be also a status update on the onboarding and training of the decision makers.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where we get into the whole, like, does this really need to happen every 2 weeks? In the relationship to the decision makers, it's such a slower process. Maybe it doesn't need to happen every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think the same. 2 weeks for the onboarding and training for the decision makers, or is too much?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would just keep it simple and just do onboarding and training. And then there's lots of different priorities within that we can outline. And then we can get details on the overall status of onboarding and training.
Okay. Let's start with that and we see how it goes. Then what else we have?
I mean, I think this is everything.
Yeah. Account and bills value. Deadlines, working on criteria.
Maybe this would be follow-up. Right? And then the other one would be multimedia follow-up.
I was thinking about it. Yeah. SVG, multimedia follow-up. Okay.
And eventually there'll also be the multimedia with the website and updates. I mean, I think those are the only two platforms we're doing for now. Which are, for now, we don't really have not assigned yet.
website and maybe the whole website, the whole setup, maybe until it's done. Then it becomes maybe only the website, so that we work on the website. I mean, the website should be ongoing. Right? Every week we should try to improve the website and. Yeah, website.
I think it's important that, you know, the follow-up, I mean, I don't know, maybe we just should just be under, I guess it's outreach, recruitment, sales. I feel like recruitment's not, maybe we call it ORC, right? Outreach and Recruitment Committee.
Yeah, out exactly. ORC. Follow up.
Because I think it's important that the CCC board and the LinkedIn are the same thing. There's really no difference between the CCC board recruitment process and the in LinkedIn and sales and all that, right? Sales, the same thing.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so I think that's it for now. So let's just put this into the proposals. Then we'll have to vote on it on like Thursday and try to finalize something and get agreement on it because it's a lot going on here. Plus, it adds significant work and updating and more up-to-date stuff. But I don't know what else to do.
No, it's a very good. So it's gonna be a very It's gonna help a lot for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay. I will try to see to at least try to complete the who's managing. Yeah. Because ideally we want to have somebody who's managing who's not doing the work directly, but we're such a small team that it's not possible at the moment.
Okay, so I think we're done for now. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else we want to go over, but this was good.
Yeah, very good.
I mean, I think from here the next priorities would be the taxes oversight and coordination management and actually going into the investments, which is obviously what we should be doing in the first place. So I know I'm pretty.
I'm losing you, Jay.
I was saying the next two priorities for me is the taxes oversight and coordination management and the investments.
Okay.
But we've already been going 2.5 hours, right? And it's getting pretty late, and it's just like, I don't know if we're going to make much progress on either one of those.
Yeah, I mean, up to you, Jay. We can also try to meet later. Cobalt maybe H3 in 1.5 hours. We can.
We could try. You know, overall, like, you know, the bottom line is like the SVG is important and all, but it might make sense to have 2 money sessions a week as well. You know, because we have basically, if you look at our schedule, so let's go to scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go to our wrap up. We'll look at our scheduling. We should have scheduling.
Yeah. So we have.
So for the scheduling, it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Mondays we've got SVG work session. Tuesdays we have money session, money support PA session. Wednesdays is SVG work session. Fridays, and then here we've got SVG main. I mean, obviously, it's very, very important that we get SVG set up, but realistically, our primary focus is overall income and stable finances, right? So I don't think that it's necessarily bad to, for example, an alternative model. So like our current model is 3 SVG, 1 money, right? So an alternative model could be 2 SVG and 2 money sessions. Right?
Okay.
And then if you think overall income and stable finances, basically we have SVG, we've got investments / money, right? And then the third one would be, we could easily do grants. And so if we had 2 SVG sessions a week, 2 money sessions a week, and 2 grant sessions a week, we should be rolling in money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can definitely, once we launch, we can
And the only other option we've talked about apparel, right? Apparel is the other one we talked about as far as income.
Yeah, e-commerce.
Apparel / e-commerce. So anyways, I mean, it's like, I think SVG is great. I think it's really good. I think it's going to be successful, but it's also an extraordinary amount of work, right? It's a lot of work, and I have concerns about, because I've been there, done it, and it's getting a client is one thing, holding on to the client long term is another, right? Because you're trying to support the client to be successful and also be professional and going out above and beyond, and it just can be very, very difficult. So having all of our income in one basket like SPG and not putting enough attention into the money and the investments and everything is just we can't ignore the investments, So I'm glad we're expanding on the SPG and we're doing the 3 work sessions per week, but it might be too many. I think we said 2 to 3, and that's why we scheduled 3, so at least 2 would happen. But maybe we need to schedule more money sessions and more specifically investment work, because we never get to it. Every week we always say, "Oh yeah, it's the top priority," but then we don't get to it.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I'm up to meet whenever you want. I just need 30 minutes to go run around otherwise the pharmacy closes. But I'm available if you want to work on the investment. Just make a session on the investment finance. And get to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to check in on Discord and everything. I just don't know if I'll be able to. I mean, I got a bunch of other things I need to deal with. I have to go to dinner. It's like getting late, and not too late, but we'll just have to see about that.
I mean, if you want
to continue, but I don't know.
I mean, or we could just continue. We take a 20-minute break and we continue. We need to go quickly here. The pharmacy is close by, and be right back. Otherwise, it closes.
Yeah, exactly. These are other priorities. So I mean, I think we should stop now. I was checking out Discord, but I think overall, what's more important than what we're doing today is setting up a schedule for the week for success. So I mean, SVG is really good, and we obviously are going to move forward with SVG, and we're scheduling all these sessions. But I'm very concerned that the money support is not getting followed through with, and we're not achieving the goal on the money support that we have set out for ourselves. So, for example, I feel like executives, we are achieving the goal. Every week on executive support, we have the upfront pay stop and executive support, and we're achieving the goal week by week. I'm not concerned about it. The money support, we're not meeting the bill. It's too much, right? The money support is a lot.
I mean, for the money support, the options are either on Monday, Cobalt or Thursday Cobalt. But Thursday we have the SVG main session, and it goes for it has been going on for 4 hours minimum lately. So I mean, we have Saturday that we're not considering. Why don't we do a regular scheduled session on Saturday? Money support.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with Saturdays or Sundays as well, but obviously Saturdays are more difficult.
Here, Saturday we can have another. I mean, the point is that it's great because I mean, Saturday we could review the list, and then on Monday we work on the priorities that we have reviewed on Saturday. It works well.
Yeah, I mean, we could try it out and see.
On Tuesday.
Yeah, we could try it out and see what happens. And then the other option is to consider Cobalt. It's like for me, I mean, it'd be ideal to have more Cobalt sessions going on, and we just don't really have that. Alliance support main session, that's happening on Cobalt, isn't it?
It's happening on Andromeda H2.5.
No, it can't be Andromeda H2.5. No way. Is it?
Or maybe Andromeda. Maybe Andromeda 3.5. Yeah, you're correct. The work session is Andromeda 2, and the Alliance support session is Andromeda 3.5.
Huh. So that might be a problem because I mean, I don't think that's going to work,
Yeah, me either. It's complicated.
So yeah, we need to fix that. Can you fix that, or do you? I mean, we should check in with Joyce and everything, but because I won't give enough time for the work session. There's just no way that's going to happen. Right? 2.5. You said 3.5.
3.5.
So maybe we should either cancel the SGV work session or move it up or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll move it to Andromeda H1 at least.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, this is a new session that we're dealing with now for the Alliance support happening every week.
So the money support session, if you want on Saturday, we can put it in Cobalt already.
I mean, obviously, I would prefer Cobalt, but it's like,
it's fine.
But it's still, but either way, whether it's Andromeda or Cobalt, it's just complicated for Saturday. So for Saturday, maybe it'd be better to just put it in Andromeda and Cobalt and just be like figure out where it works, because it's just Saturdays are just so difficult,
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
Especially at the beginning, because at the beginning it's obviously more difficult, but then once we get in a rhythm, it'll be easier and easier.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's just focus on making it happen, either Andromeda or Cobalt, but on Saturday, let's do it.
And another option that we could do is we could just cancel the SVG work session and just not do that, and then just focus on the life support. That's definitely the obvious option. I mean, the life support needs to happen, right? We've all been talking about how important it is.
Yeah.
And again, we already have 2 SVG work sessions. Do we really need a third one? Maybe not. So we either need to move up the SVG work session to hour 1 or even Hydra hour 3. So let's put here options for SVG work session, which is on Wednesday. So we can either cancel, move to Andromeda hour 1, or move to Hydra 3. So we should get that organized and coordinated with the team and see what the interest is on that, so that we can prioritize the Alliance support. And this week we have our first life support session in a very, very long time.
All right.
I think we're good.
Yeah. So I'll check on you later if we want to have a session focused only on the investment.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the investment. We also have many other topics like that. We have priorities for scheduling. Maybe we should go over those real quick too. So other priority scheduling. So we have like more money, and investments, right? We also have the 1099s management and processes and responsibility organizing.
Yeah.
We've got Sensei.
Sensei, yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah. We should have a session for that for sure.
We've got, I mean, SVG work. There's so much more SVG work to do. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
We've got CCC, setup and recruitment. These are all priorities that we have. Like we can't just wait for someone else to do everything.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that needs to be prioritized?
I mean, SVG. I mean, SVG is so much. I mean, there's so many.
Put
things.
SVG. It's in there.
Yeah. SVG work.
So I'm not saying like, I mean, I'm fine working. I'm fine considering the investments, but I don't know if it's necessarily the number one top priority overall. Right. Also, we could be thinking about. I mean, there's Sensei model, and then obviously overall, project management, coordination, and system. So, the Sensei model should address the overall systems considerations, but there's also the overall project management coordination systems that I do have some ideas on how to address. I mean, there's so much going on, and there's so much more going to go on.
Right.
So it's like, how do you actually create a system and a model that can deal with all of it? And I have some new ideas that I've been working on because, we're still in a situation here where we're not hitting the nail on the head, if that makes sense.
I would put it as a priority itself. Some things they'll come out from Sensei, but yeah, could be a priority.
They're very similar though in terms of like, like we could talk about like our overall modeling and methodology, which includes Sensei, segmentation, value, project management, systems, et cetera, right? So like for me, all of these things are very similar. And also the other thing that's important about this is this is our primary product, in that what we want in the end is basically to document everything, get it all on permanent servers, distributed servers, right? Distributed servers and ledgers, and then present it to future generations. Because again, our goal is, the direction that I'm going in my goals and my purpose is that, I no longer necessarily feel that the current generation cares, right? Because it's so hard to find people who are willing to really get focused and do what it's going to require to transform the world and make the world be more in balance with our society and the planet and everything, including all the resources and the management and everything. So I mean, at some point, it's just like, why waste all of our energy on a society that just doesn't care, with the work that we're doing, right? And instead to set it all up for future generations, right? And so for me, this is a huge top priority. And also, if we can get our modeling and methodology correct, it should set us up for success either way, that we can be successful. So for me, this is all really the same. It's all really the same thing. That's why I kind of put it all together. It's our overall modeling and methodology. Like we need that to be perfect, right? And not only perfect for ourselves so that we can function, but also for documenting it all for future generations so that other people
Absolutely.
can models if they choose to experiment with them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine. I would also work on SDG website, keep going on the tour or the 1099s management since it's such a mess. And we got lucky for this time, but we need to.
Also, what is the deadline? I kept asking the deadline. I don't think I got that. What's the deadline? For
The 28th of February with the government.
Okay, so that's the deadline. It's important to lines for our scheduling. Okay, all right. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Hit me up on Discord
Yeah.
or tomorrow. I mean, again, I would send out an announcement to everybody that tomorrow's SVG work session needs to be canceled because the Alliance support, specifically the life support session, takes priority. And therefore, our options is either to keep it canceled, right? I think at this point, based on our policies, it's just not possible to do hour 2 and then hour 3.5. It's just not possible. So under our policies, it's like automatic cancellation, right? So we either keep it canceled or we would switch to Andromeda Hour 1 or Andromeda Hour 3.
Yeah, let's see. I'll make a proposal with some options.
And this time I don't know. I mean, obviously if it's going to be hour 2, I'd be there on time. But hour 1, hour 3, I don't know if I will be there on time. So, you can make it clear that, in terms of my involvement, is just kind of like a coin flip at this time. So what we need to focus on is the Alliance support and the life support. If people want to, we can try to reschedule this SVG work session. Otherwise, it would just be on Friday.
All right, I'll see. I'll coordinate
for tonight. Yeah, we could also do more like even Sonic this evening, right? Instead, I guess that's an option 4, right? Option 4, Sonic. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you, Jay. Talk to you later. Thanks so much.
Okay.